Hey guys, it's Jess and welcome back, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you are all well. A little bit of a fun and different video today, but I am going to be recommending you some books based on some of my favourite music. Not just any music though, I am going to be recommending you books based on music by my favourite band, Muse. If you don't know already, then Muse are my favourite band. I have been a huge fan of these guys from Devon since forever. I don't even know how long, but my teenage years were just completely taken over by these guys. Honestly, I was obsessed. I still love them so much, and they have a new album coming out in about a week's time, depending on when this video goes up. It might be a week's time, it might be less than a week, but I am so excited. We haven't had a Muse album for over 3 years now, and they have been releasing some new songs, and I have been loving all of them. I don't care what any of the Muse fans says. I think all of their recent songs have been amazing, and I'm just so ready to hear their new album. And to celebrate, I thought I would make a video where I just recommend some books based on Muse songs. I've seen this idea around on booktube a little bit, where people will shuffle their Spotify playlists and then recommend books based on those songs. Well, I'm just gonna do that, but I'm gonna just do it with Muse songs. So I've got Spotify loaded up, and I am just gonna shuffle play through these songs, and the first 10 songs that come up are gonna be songs that I use to inform my book recommendations. I have absolutely no idea how this is going to play out, so yeah, this is going to be a fun little experiment, but without further ado, I'm just going to start shuffling these songs, and then afterwards, after I've chosen my 10 songs, then I'll come back with the 10 book recommendations. Here we go. I might have to put a little thing over the music, like a little distortion or something, just so I don't get done for copyright. But yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen. All right, here we go. Alright, so the first song was the live version of Supermassive Black Hole, a classic Muse song. If you were a Twilight fan back in the day, this song was played during the baseball scene in the first Twilight movie. So there we go, that's the first song. I'm actually going to screenshot all of these so I don't forget. Alright, moving on to the next one. Alright, so we have got Sober, another live version. That one might be a tricky one, but we'll see. Alright, so we've got Nature One. I haven't heard that one in a while actually. I like that one. So what we've got 3 now, so we need 7 more. So that's another live version. God, the shuffle is really loving the live versions. This is Hate This and I Will Love You. Okay. Number 5. That's such a weird song. Hypochondriac Music is number 5. I love this one. That one is Falling Away With You, which is an absolutely gorgeous song. So that was number 6. Let's go on to number 7 now. That is The Globalist. That is a very long song, but also pretty awesome. I think that one might be quite a hard one to do. We'll have to see. What are we on now? Number 8, I think, yeah. So that was Cave, the remix. Very interesting. All right, so now we're going on to number 9. That one's Dark Shines, so that's number 9. So now we're on to the last song. I'm kind of interested to see what it's gonna be. All right. Oh, this is a good song. So that was Sunburn, which is the 10th and final song. And that is one of my favourite Muse songs, actually. I love that song. It just reminds me of summer 2010. I used to listen to that on repeat while I was doing my work experience. So those are the 10 songs. Now I just have to find some books to recommend to you based off the themes of those songs, the titles of those songs. I'm not really sure, but I'll see you in a few with some book recommendations. Alright guys, it's been a while. I'm back. I spent a good like half an hour trying to think of some recommendations, but I've got there. I've got my recommendations. So without further ado, let's get into them. So the first song that came up on shuffle was Supermassive Black Hole. So my recommendation for this is actually a space themed book, which is The Expanse by James S.A. Corey. So this is the first book in the Expanse series. I read it a couple of years ago now, so I can't actually remember too much of what it was about. I remember it not being one of my favourite sci-fi reads ever, but it is a very heavy sci-fi book, and I know the series has been made into a show, which I did watch some of. I know the books are very, very popular. I think this author is still coming out with some more in the series, but I just kind of went for this one based off the fact that this song, Supermassive Black Hole, is kind of about like something sinister lurking, you know, something bad approaching, and it has those, you know, those space rock vibes, and I could kind of imagine this song being played in the background of a scene from this book, and there is kind of something very sinister lurking within the depths of space. It was all quite interesting. This is a hugely political space opera type of thing, you know. It is huge. It's set in the future. We've got people living on different planets, and humans are just kind of like everywhere now in space. I kind of want to read it again just so I can kind of get a feel for it again, because it is one of those series that I do really want to get into. I probably just read it at the wrong time, but from what I've heard of this series, it is very good and something that a lot of people seem to hype up. So there we go, that's my first recommendation. Just opening the window because I'm very hot. All right, so the next song that we played was Sober, and this one was really hard because this song is all about like alcohol, you know, it references a lot of alcoholic brands, and I tried to find a book that I've read that kind of centered around alcohol or drugs. And I'm sure there are some, but I just couldn't think. But there is a book actually that is on my TBR that I do want to read. That is kind of to do with addiction and how it affects you, and that is American Psycho. I really want to read this. I've heard incredible things about it. Look at me recommending a book to you that I've never even read, but it is a classic. I've heard that it's brutal, that it's gory, that it's really kind of fucked up and very questionable, but those are the kind of books that I like. So there we go. That's my answer for that. Kind of cheating, I know, but we're just going to go with it. So the next one that was played was Nature One. So this one was kind of tricky, but I looked at the lyrics, and the lyrics are kind of like about this person being obsessed with somebody else. I guess there's kind of like alternative meanings, but for what I got from it, it's somebody who's a little bit obsessed with someone, and that causes them to do not very nice things. So I went with You by Caroline Kepnes, because this is one of those thrillers that is very fucked up, and I really enjoyed it. It is about a guy called Joe Goldberg who owns a bookstore, and he becomes obsessed with this young woman who walks into the store. She is called Beck, and he starts to stalk her. He wants to be with her. He wants to be in a relationship with her, and it drives him to do some very questionable things. So that's my answer for that. It is a very dark and twisted book, but I had a good time reading it, and I think you'd have a good time reading it too if you like reading about messed up characters who don't do very nice things. The next song that was played was Hate This and I'll Love You, and I kind of interpreted this as it being like an enemies to lovers vibe. So I went with These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I'm still yet to read the second book to this series. I'm so behind, but I love this book so much. It is a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in Shanghai, China in the 1920s with a fantasy twist. There is a monster stalking the streets of Shanghai, and Juliet and Romeo, or in this instance Juliet and Roma, have to team up. They have to put their differences aside and team up to save the city. And it was so much fun. A really good dark atmosphere, lots of brooding sexual tension between the two main characters. And I'm not going to tell you whether they get together in this book or not, but it might as well be enemies to lovers, you know? We know where it's all heading, so there we go. So next we have Hypochondriac music, and I had no fucking clue what to recommend for this one. So I just went with the vibe of the song, of the music being played. It kind of sounds like it could be something you would hear in like a sci-fi show, you know, it's got those space vibes. So I went with Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Read this recently. Really loved it. It was a 4-star read. This is about a guy who is on a mission he's on this mission to kind of find a cure, a remedy for this amoeba, a bacteria cell thing that is causing havoc on Earth, or could potentially cause havoc on Earth. But his crew die, and he's the sole survivor. Of course he is. And then he's in the depths of space on his own. There's like no communication back to Earth, or very little communication back to Earth, and he comes across another ship. That's all I'm gonna say, but this book was really, really adorable actually. It wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, but it was very interesting. It was not too heavy on the sci-fi, it was very easy to follow, and it was a lot of fun, something a bit different. It's being made into a movie, and I'm very, very excited. Alright, so next is Falling Away With You, and for that I chose another space-themed book. I mean, for all of Muse's songs, I could pretty much just choose space-themed books because, you know, that's the kind of vibe of their entire genre. But I've gone with Hold Back the Stars by Katie Kahn. This is for Falling Away With You. This is a romance set in space. We are following two astronauts who are on a mission. Their mission goes wrong and they end up alone, floating in space with 30 minutes worth of oxygen left, and they're kind of like trying to figure out how to get out of this situation that they are in, while also reflecting back on their life and their relationship with each other. And it's beautiful, it's tense, it's just absolutely stunning. The writing is beautiful. I was so invested in these two characters when I read it. I've read this twice now, and I always recommend it to people if they're looking for a different kind of romance. I just love this. And this was like the first book that came to mind when I heard that song. All right, so next is The Globalist, and I have gone with Great Circle by Maggie Shipstead. So I am yet to talk about this on my channel, but I did really enjoy this. This was a 5-star read for me. Spoiler alert, because I haven't done my wrap up yet. This is an unusual pick for this song because this song is actually kind of about a dictator and people rising up against him and all of the wars that he's causing or involved in and all of that lovely political stuff. But I just picked this one because this is about a woman who wanted to fly a great circle around the earth. So she could pretty much be a globalist, you know. She's been all around the world. This was a very interesting and very vivid read. The characters in this book are phenomenally written, so well-rounded, flawed, but, you know, they just felt like they were real people, like I was reading about real people. It's also perfect for aviation nerds if you are big into your aeroplanes. This is a book for you because it does teach you about the history of aviation a little bit and some of the pioneers in that, some of the pilots that achieved great things during the 20th century when aviation was still relatively new. I really enjoyed this. Highly recommend it. It's a great piece of women's fiction, and I can see why everyone has been raving about it. So the next one was Cave, and this one was a really tricky one because this song, I don't really know what it's about. I know the song, it's not my favourite, so I haven't listened to it a lot. I almost went for another space book because just because of the vibes of the song again, you know, the synths and everything in it just sounds like it could be played out in space. But I'm going to talk about the inspiration behind this song, which I found on Muse Wiki. I don't know how true this is. There is a reference there. Apparently, Matt Bellamy said the idea for Cave came from that rubbish American book, his words, not mine, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. There's this bit about how men go into a cave when they get stressed, and I think that's probably true. Although, personally, I tend to let it out. So, I'm going to go with that recommendation. It's a book that I do want to read, kind of. I've heard very conflicting things about it. I've been aware of this book for years and years. My auntie loved it and she recommended it to me. So this is her personal recommendation, okay? You know, this is a book that she has recommended to me. Matt Bellamy has obviously read it. So there we go. Alright, so the next one is Dark Shines. And I love the vibes of this song. It kind of just reminds me of, like, you know, Western films, things like that, like maybe a Western space opera, I don't know. But this song, I think it's about like a really hot girl and this guy who's in love with this hot girl. She's moody, she's sexy, he's trying to get with her, that kind of thing. I mean, it could be interpreted as something else, I don't know, but that's what I get from it. So I went with The Beautiful by Renee Hardier. This isn't about a sexy girl as such. I mean, there is a character in here called Sebastian who is, you know, moody and sexy and brooding and dark, and he's also a vampire, I think. So I can't remember if it was actually confirmed if he is a vampire or not. I believe he's a vampire, but that's my my pick for that. It is a YA fantasy, kind of loosely based off not The Great Gatsby, the other one, or the sequel to Great Gatsby. I think it was that, because the next book in the series is called The Damned. I think there is a third book. I can't remember. It's not a series that I am going to continue with. I didn't care for it that much, but I did enjoy it. You know, it's set in the Cultural Quarter in New Orleans, you know, which is an amazing setting for a story like this because it has such a great spooky atmosphere. And I remember it being fun. So there we go. And then lastly, we had Sunburn, which is probably my favourite song out of all of the 10 songs that we have listened to so far. And for that, I went with Sundial by Katrina Ward, just because of the word sun. Totally unrelated to the lyrics, but this is a book that I have really enjoyed. I read it quite recently. It was a 4-star read. Absolutely fantastic book set in the Mojave Desert. You know, we've got a mother and daughter with a strained relationship. They're trying to fix it and there are weird things happening. It's just got that really good dark atmosphere. You know, this great tension, this sense of isolation that just instills fear in you. And I was very pleasantly surprised by the twists in this book. The ending was very fucking frustrating, but you know, overall it was a solid read. I highly recommend it. I love Katrina Ward. I think she is fantastic. Can't wait to read more of her stuff. And yeah, if they ever make this into a show, I think they should play Sunbird in it. That's just my opinion. But anyway, guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. It was a bit of a pointless video, but it was fun all the same. I might do this again with another band or artist's music that I like, because there are a few. I might just do it with my Spotify playlist in general, but anyway, I am gonna wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Please feel free to leave any comments down below, letting me know what you thought of this video, whether you enjoyed it or not, if you've got any of your own recommendations. Also, if you are a big Muse fan like me, hit me up. Let's talk. Let's share some of our memories of Muse and things like that. I'm always open to making new friends. Please leave a cheeky thumbs up if you like this video. You can subscribe to my channel. You can hit the bell button as well, so you will be notified every single time I do upload. And yeah, having said all of that, I will see you all in my next video very soon. Bye, guys.